10:30, nobody's here. Yeah. Not always, but at least someone does. And this is my biggest class. Yeah, it's a 13-person class. Shit. They can't get in. It just re-registered, which means he probably couldn't get in. Ah, there we go. Hey, Emma.
Hey there.
Hey, Greta. Here's
Hello.
everyone. Did you guys have problems getting in?
No, just running a little late.
Okay, okay.
I had problems.
You did. I saw you re-registered, Ed, and I had problems in another class earlier this week. So I was like, "Oh shit! Did I have another?"
I made it. Hey, I didn't think.
Good. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
It's fine. If I just thought it was weird. There's like 13 or 14 people in this class. I was like, did everybody run late or can't come today? That would be strange. And I was worried it was a tech issue.
I couldn't find my link. I had to go back to like an old invite that I created to find it for some reason.
Yeah, I used the link all the time. This time it wouldn't.
It wouldn't work.
Right. Had to re-register, it said.
Well, I'm glad you figured it out. I'm sorry about that. But you're here.
Yeah.
You're here. All right. How's everyone doing?
Hey, Ram. Good. Emma says hi.
Hey,
Hey.
come see your face.
Oh yeah, sorry.
She is.
I don't know if it's better to have it on the which angle is. See, that's so high. Like
whatever's best for you to see.
Yeah. It's hard to know.
Here we go. I knew we'd just be a little behind today. I'm going to give everyone a pass and make sure that everyone can get in. Is anyone going back to work in the office yet?
Not anytime soon. No.
No, not in DC. Hey, Stephen. We're giving everyone a couple minutes because we had a little, I don't know what's going on this morning. We all just needed an extra few minutes. That's fine. Is it raining in DC? We have a rainy day here.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been overcast all day.
Yeah.
Coming out now.
Yeah. Okay, you guys want to get started?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, nobody else messaged me, so that's okay. I don't have much intro for you today. We're just going to start. We're just going to do it.
Good.
Let's just do it. Let me get my configuration. There we go. Okay, if you have a yoga block, you might want to use it, but you might not need it. So if there's a block or a blanket or pillow, pillows can work too, but see, we're going to open up this we're going to open up kind of the front line of the body. So kind of from the base of the ribs down across the front.
Maybe Steve Gurley, just a sort of a,
Mute everyone.
that's really the part that I think we couldn't do, unless we could carry on that a little bit, that would be.
There we go. Someone's still on a work call, looks like. So opening up this whole front line of the body, from like up inside your ribs even, all the way down to kind of the tops of your knees. Okay, we can often get kind of congested in that area from, it could be from exercise, a lot of this kind of, biking or running, or even just kind of sitting this way. A lot if we're sitting in a chair and we get kind of slumpy, it can get kind of tight from either overuse or underuse. So we're going to start by just sitting on your bottom here. You're going to take your hands behind you and take your feet out in front of you, a little wider than hips distance. So you're kind of leaning on the back of your sitting bones. Hands are wide apart. And I want you to just start taking your knees side to side. These are, we call them windshield wipers. And you're moving your thigh bones back and forth from internal to external rotation. And you'll notice when you move these thigh bones around from side to side, that you may start to sense things moving up into your lower back, your hips, that they're very closely related. Let's drop our knees to one side. And they don't, look, mine don't hit the floor, but we're just gonna kind of hold here. You don't even have to push them down. Just the weight of the bones. You might take a tiny little bounce here to make sure you're going with gravity. And then we're gonna turn this into a twist. So you're gonna take your left hand behind you. You're turning to the right, And now my left hip has come off the floor. So I'm only on one hip. Walk your hands behind you. Keep them about shoulders distance. And think of yourself like a lizard here. So you're lengthening forward and upright a little bit. And I want you to let your hips sink down and underneath you. Keep your head kind of centered. Take a nice deep breath. And then release back to center and go to the other side. So let the knees drop to the left and just pause for a moment before you even twist. I'm not pushing or forcing anything. Just want to check something. No. Some people had trouble getting in this morning. I think somebody else just wrote me. I'm having a fight with Zoom this week, a little bit of a fight. Good. We're gonna walk our hands behind us, and now my right hip has come off the floor. So you'll just be leaning on your left hip. Walk your hands behind you. Hands are shoulders distance. And think of that lizard again. You're kind of lengthening forward and upright, relaxing your shoulders by unlocking your elbows. Letting your legs be heavy and your bottom, your tail slides underneath you just a little bit. Let a breath travel through your body. And then we'll return back to center. So now I'm going to show you, maybe you've done this before with me, but I want you to test out, and I'm going to turn around so you can see. So you want to watch me first. I want to show you the difference between internal and external rotation. Does this work? Yeah. So right now I'm lying down on my back and my legs are in the sky, and I'm kind of relaxed here, right? And I'm in a neutral position. I'm not internally or externally rotated. But if I start to turn my thighs outwards from one another, bring my heels in and my toes out, that's an external rotation of the thigh bones. Some people call it the hips. That's just the language. But the bone that's moving is your thigh bone, and it's connecting all the way down into the tips of the toes. It continues that line. And then I can go the other way. I go back to neutral, and then I can internally rotate so the big toes come towards one another and the heels move apart. So go ahead and lie down on your back. Put your legs in the sky. Your legs don't have to be straight. And I want you to play a little bit by taking your thigh bones internally rotated and then externally rotated. This is so cute to watch. Yeah. And notice the movement initiates from deep within the hip socket. And the line continues all the way into the toes. But your shins, your ankles, your feet are just following the direction of the thighs. Does that make sense? So you're not twisting at the knee, you're not twisting at an ankle. Now go into external rotation. Yep, you think of like a ballerina, very kind of classic position for a ballerina. You don't have to work too hard. Don't force anything. Just notice how that feels on your hips, your lower back, all of the joints down that line, hips, knees, ankles. And then reverse it, go into internal rotation. Thighs inwardly rotating. You're keeping your weight down in your hips. Notice how that feels. And then I want you to do the one that feels most comfortable for your body. Which one do you prefer? Which one's more natural? Go ahead and show me. If you're not sure, you might not prefer one of them to the other. Go ahead and show me. Which one do you think feels more comfortable to you? Good. Okay, we're gonna bend your knees, bring them in towards your chest. Did anyone pick? Let's rock up to sitting. Rock up to sitting. And notice when you're sitting, you can do the same thing. Gotta back up so you can see my feet. When you're sitting and your legs are out, your toes might fall out to the side. That's the external rotation. Or you could do the opposite, internal rotation. Now, who prefers this one? Who's more comfortable with toes? Just give me an arm up with your toes turning out, an external rotation. Let's see, I see Remington and Emma. Yep, and Ed, yeah. And who's the internal? Who's more comfortable this way? Greta, you were kind of playing with it. Maybe we're not sure. Who's not sure? Who's like, maybe both, I'm not sure. Who's abstaining? We have some people who don't have their video on who are abstaining. So today, When you sit like this, let's all sit like this. This is crisscross. Or if you prefer, not tucking that foot under the opposite shin, this is called Sukhasana or easy pose. And you've seen the very classic form of yoga to meditate is the full lotus, which I'm not going to demonstrate because it's not for my body. But when one foot comes on top of the thigh, and so does the other one. I'm sure you've seen it if you've not done it. This is a great external rotation through the legs, right? The thigh bones are externally rotated. We're going to press our hands down onto the thighs or knees, just depending on the length of your arms. And you're going to lift up tall through the chest and through the crown. Now imagine if you had to sit here for an hour. We're not going to. We won't today. But take a nice deep breath and just notice how it feels. Breathe in through your nose and out your mouth. Let it go. And relax into this seat. Breathe in and breathe out. Good, we're going to switch this. So come forward onto hands and knees, and we're going to come into hero's pose. In hero's pose, we're sitting more internally. I'm going to show you from the side. So it might just be here. You're sitting back on your heels. Thighs are parallel, knees are together, and you're sitting up tall, right? Now, for some of us, there's my block. For instance, I have a knee injury that I'm healing back from October, and the pressure is too much, but if I put a block under my seat, much better. Yeah, you might need 2 or 3 blocks. Some people just hate this pose. Now, to go fully into Vajrasana in hero's pose, might go even further than this, not just sitting on the heels, but when the feet come apart and you sit your hips down, we're not going to do this one, although some of you might be really easy and comfortable into it, is when you sit your hips all the way down onto the floor. I'm going to pretend to demonstrate, but not do it because my knees won't have this. Here's from the side, right? My feet separate a little bit and I'm internally rotating. To sit down, I could do it if I, again, have my block. And imagine, right, take a shape of this sitting on the heels or the block. Imagine being here for an hour. Which one seems more comfortable, more natural, more intuitive for your body? It's kind of a rhetorical question, but not really. But you're muted, so just kind of making that note to yourself. Let's see how these different positions affect the way we feel in our hips and our lower back, and how we can come into that shape and open up this front line of the body. It's going to help with digestion, with breathing well, with feeling more relaxed. So let's start and come onto hands and knees. And I want you to place your knees just normally right under your hips, hands underneath your shoulders. Unlock your elbows, take a breath in. Look forward, roll your shoulders back slightly towards one another. And as you exhale, we'll press down into the floor and around the spine, from head to tail. Inhale, lifting head and tail just slightly. More like you're pulling the hips backwards and the heart forwards. Exhale and round. Again, inhale and rise up. Last time, exhale and round. And we're going to change it now. I want you to take your knees a little wider apart and your big toes together or almost together. So you've now externally rotated, and we're going to do the same thing. Be mindful of the sensations through your back. As you inhale, come into a cow shape. Unlock your elbows. As you exhale, round your spine. Do this a few times. Move back and forth through cat and cow. your externally rotated thigh bones. And this is a great place to come into a transition. Next time you exhale, you can go right back into child's pose. Reach your hips back towards your heels, elongate your arms, rest your head on the floor. Take a nice deep breath and let it go. And then we're going to come up again to table, and we're going to switch it. I want you to bring your knees almost to touching and your feet wider than your hips. So you're a little bit internally rotated. So think toes kind of on the edge of the mat, knees touching or almost touching. I've got a little space, a few inches. Breathe in, lift your head and tail. Breathe out and round. And go back and forth a few times. Notice how it feels. Which one is more comfortable in which position? Or maybe it feels the same. And from here, we're not going to go into child's pose, but I just want you to move your hips back a little bit. Maybe not all the way. You might kind of move forward and back slightly. If you draw your hips back, it's not really a yoga pose that we do. It's not really a safe place to go all the way back and down. We're just going to sense, especially I think around that sacral area. How does it feel? Good. And then come back to neutral. Bring your feet and your knees in line. Go back into your child's pose. And just take a nice deep breath just to settle and lengthen the back. Exhale all the way out. And then we're going to come up into downward dog. So wiggle your hands forward a bit. Tuck your toes under. Slide your hips back. Unlock your elbows and knees. Relax your head. Pedal out the feet. They might need some length and circulation by your ankles, your calves, the backs of your knees. Try not to force or press your body in any strong direction. Kind of just finding some range of motion from the middle out towards the edges in a more natural way. Good. Take a walk with your feet to your hands. And let's do a little experiment here. Also, let's turn the toes out slightly. There's still space between your heels. You're kind of duck-footed here. Place your hands on your shin bones. Reach your heart forward. It looks awful funny for a yoga teacher who's used to seeing everyone in parallel feet. Just notice how this feels around your hips and back. Unlock your knees. And then fold in half. And then we'll switch it. Take your heels apart and your feet a little closer. Listen to your body. Go ahead and extend again. Hands on the shins. Reach your heart forward. You might feel some nice different stretches on the backs of the legs in different places. Exhale and release. And then we're going to go parallel. Hands to the shins. Lengthen. And exhale and fold. Let's bend our knees, lift your head and chest, circle your arms out, stand up. Lift your chest, lift your arms, exhale, swan dive and forward fold. Let your hips be high, head drop slow. And take a step back with the right foot. Nice long step, drop a knee, squeeze the legs in. We're just gonna stay in neutral here through those hips. Take your nice crescent lunge, beautiful, and then dissolve. Hands to the floor, step back to down dog. We're gonna come forward to plank. Let's warm up the body. Hovering in your plank position, long and strong through the spine. Good. Knees down first, and then chest and hips. Lower to the ground. Lengthen your legs, inhale. Float the heart forward in cobra. Got neutral thigh bones, good. Lower, push back, Downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg to the sky. Exhale, practice that step forward. If it doesn't make it all the way, it's probably fine. Drop the back knee, rise up, strong legs. So you're already starting to lengthen this line from the base of the ribs down to the knee with nice neutral hips. Good, hands come down, step forward, press off the shins, lengthen your spine. Exhale and fold. Circle the arms out, rise up. I like to take that knee bend. Rise up through chest and fingertips. Exhale and forward bend. Let the head relax. Left knee will step back. The farther you step back, the more of a tug you're going to have on this hip flexor, on this line when you drop a knee. Good, so drop that left knee. Rise up, strong legs. And exhale, dissolve this shape. Hands down, step back. Rest your hips long and back behind you. Come into plank position. Make a choice. You can drop your knees first or just bend your elbows and lower. Find your cobra. Nice long legs, heart forward. Exhale, lengthen as you lower. And your choice, you can push back hands and knees or maybe push straight up plank into down dog. Left leg will go into the sky, big lift. Shy step forward. Drop the back knee. Strong legs. And we'll get that length again from knees to ribs. That's your core. That's a full length of your core. And dissolve, hands down. Step it forward. Find your length, pressing off the floor for your shins. And then find your depth. Strong Battasanas are going to bring you to rise all the way up. Look up. Open, open, open. Exhale and swan dive. Right foot takes a big step back. And dropping a knee. So maybe you want to move that knee back 1 extra inch than you did before. Maybe 1 extra inch. Squeeze those legs together. Rise up, reach your thumbs behind you. Unlock your elbows. Unlock your jaw. Good, dissolve. Step back dog. Here we go, come forward, plank pose. Your version of low plank. Knees down first or long legs. Let's try this, cobra. Before you come into cobra, can you try a little bit of heels together, toes apart? You're going to be externally rotated. Now move slowly. This actually closes up the back, so you might feel slightly uncomfortable. Slight turn out. Pull the heart forward. Notice what it feels like. And then come back down. Find your way to downward dog. I'm going to parallel my feet. Push up and back. Right leg will go to the sky. Take a step. Maybe wiggling that left foot back a little more. Descend onto that back knee. Strong legs brings you up. Take your time. And if you feel too wobbly, like you're falling and collapsing, then shorten up the distance between your feet. It's fine. Chin lifted, jaw loose. Thumbs reach behind you. And we'll dissolve. Step forward. Press off the shins and lengthen. Exhale, hips high, head low. Stand up, rise up. Take up a lot of space. Exhale and forward fold. Relax that head. Left foot steps back. Drop a knee down. Up to you to put a little more length and stress in your Anjaneyasana. And dissolve. Downward facing dog. Forward to plank. And lower to the tummy. Good. Internal rotation. It's a little awkward. You're still going to point your toes, but think of allowing your heels to roll out, but that movement comes all the way from in the hips, all the way in the hip socket. not just at the ankles. Give it a try. This might feel lovely on your lower back. Pull the floor back, pull your heart forward. You've opened up the gate of the lower back here. Good, come forward and down, parallel your legs so you can transition back. Downward facing dog. We'll take the left leg to the sky to finish this round. Step forward, drop the knee. Rise up, take up a lot of space. Big breath. Good, and dissolve. Hands down, step forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Good. Rise up, take up a lot of space. And I'm going to meet you in downward dog. So you can take a fold. And your choice, you can either just step back, or you could go through that vinyasa sequence. I'm just going to take a step back and give you a moment to find your way there. Find a nice breath. We'll take our right leg to the sky. We'll take a step. And then we're going to get a little bit more into this opening, the length from ribs to knees. Let's turn our left foot out about 45 degrees and flatten it. We're going to come into warrior one. Hands come to your hips for form and alignment. You're going to lift your torso and your chest. I want you to do that by actually unbending your front leg a bit. So you're not at 90. Knee is not over ankle. You're almost straight. And really find your hip bones here. Your left hip inevitably will pull a little bit back. But from your ribs, I want you to turn them straight to the front of your mat. Shoulders as well, and head as well. You don't need to look at me. Keep that back foot grounded, and then keep this nice lift, this length. Feel your legs squeezing in, and then you're gonna bend into that front knee until it comes over the ankle. You might have to take a peek. Good. So core strength and length. Pull back again. Unlock that front leg. Extend. Feel your feet press into the ground. Lift up high. And then exhale, descend. Now, if this doesn't work, if you're feeling congestion in your back ankle, maybe you have an old injury. I actually broke that area of my body when I was 11. So sometimes it doesn't work for me. You can do this from heel up, but you'll be more wobbly because you have less surface area on the ground. So your choice, you can have heel up or foot flat. I want you to pull forward and back 3 more times. I'm going to stick with the warrior one foot pattern. And you're lengthening and strengthening this whole line from the back knee all the way up to the ribs. Go into the descent, go in deep. And now we're going to lift our arms. Nice and square. We're looking forward. Shoulders nice and level to the hips. Here's your warrior one. Good. Everybody, I want you to pick up that back heel now. So you're on the ball of the back foot. Bring your hands back to your hips. I want you to do a little bounce here. Both knees bend. We're going to go bounce, 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 and then we're going to stand up, knee to chest. Good. I highly recommend you use the furniture here for balance if you need. We're going to step back. Try not to step back into that shape by leaning forward. Stay upright. Land wherever you land. Bounce, 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 and knee. Yep, wobbles and all, it's fine. Step back, try and stay upright. I can't watch you guys or else I fall over. Gotta keep my head straight. Bounce, 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 knee. Hold on to things if you need. That's more important, is keeping upright. One more time, step back, bounce, 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 knee, and tree. Knee and tree. So you're gonna take this left knee out to the side. I'll show you from the front. Foot comes either to your inner thigh or on the inner shin, I don't care. Can be down here. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, asana. Good. So now look what's happening. This left thigh bone is externally rotating all the way from up into your hip socket. Hold on to the wall if you need, because we're playing more with the rotation today of our thigh bones rather than just trying to stick a balancing pose, right? Your right thigh is just ever so slightly going to internally rotate to counter kind of balance against your left foot to find that resistance. Arms can come up. Good. Are you breathing? I stopped. Let the wind blow. Breathe. Bring your knee back to your chest. Go ahead, grab it. And I'm going to meet you in warrior two. So you're going to send that leg back behind you, land, and open. Good. Arms reach out. So your right thigh is now externally rotating so that the knee doesn't turn in, right? Externally rotate. Feel your hips drop underneath you. Back thigh slightly, ever so slightly internally rotates. So here's the action if you watch my hands, right? Good. Reverse. Reach right arm up to the sky. And open those ribs. Feel the space. Come forward. Place your elbow on your thigh. Left arm long. Side angle pose. Legs are doing the same rotations. External on the right. Slightly internal on the left. Back up warrior two. We're going to look down and find plank pose. Pause here for a moment. Nice floating plank. Unlocked elbows, unlocked knees. And then we're going to drop the left knee to the ground right under your hip. You're going to stand on your left hand strong. We're going to swivel out into stargazer. So right arm to the sky. I'm swiveling on the left knee. We're going to lift the right leg strong just to hip height. It's in neutral. That thigh is in neutral. Right thigh neutral. Left thigh a little bit externally rotated. And then I want you to bend your right knee and reach back and try and just tickle your heel there. Just tap your heel. Don't grab it. Don't pull on the foot. Just see if you might make contact. If you don't, doesn't matter. We're just engaging the back of the body strong. Your back shoulders, your waistline, your butt, and your hamstrings in order to lengthen the front of the body. Breathe. And extend that leg back out. Bring both hands to the floor. And your choice. You can go through a vinyasa sequence, send those legs long, or you can just go back to dog or child's pose, preserving your energy for later. Take your time. Good. We're going to meet in down dog. Take a nice deep breath. Left leg goes high into the sky. Takes a little shy step forward. And then the back foot, if you want to do warrior 1 foot pattern, this ankle might be different. Might have a different story on this side. Slight turnout, 30 to 45 degrees, hands to your hips. Rise up, stand up. Hold your hips for stability. And then what I didn't say is this pose is shorter than warrior 2, right? Your feet are a little closer together. That's just the way the body works here. I want you to bend and extend that front knee a few times. Feel yourself really pulling the ribs in and up. And again, if you need to be on that back ball of the foot instead of flat-footed, then that's fine. I am okay with it. Let's go up one more time. Nice pulling up, 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 up. Notice I've still got a curve in my back. Hope so. We need that curve. And then bend into that knee. It should be pointing out. Center of the knee points out over second toe. And then we'll reach our arms up. Warrior one. Finding that nice long length from the right foot up to the base of the ribs. Good. We're all going to lift up the heel now. Point the toes forward. Grab the hips for stability again. Bounce, 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 and knee. Try and keep upright, upright through the spine. Step back. Don't worry about how far it is. Bounce, 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 knee. Good. Don't get tight in the jaw. Smile it out for wobbles. Bounce, 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 knee. One more time. We're kind of in between slow and fast twitch muscles here. Nice stability. And knee. There we go. And tree. Tree position. Foot somewhere connected to the inside of your left leg. Again, you might even just take your right hand to your thigh bone and try to externally rotate it. Just imitate that action of your thigh bone externally rotating. And the left one, there's a cardinal outside staring at us right now. She just went, what are you doing? Tree pose. I'm in a tree. That left thigh bone is just gently inwardly rotating. So your hips are spreading apart. They're going to feel like they're spreading apart. Arms can come up if you like. Hold the wall if you need, even if you don't need, if you just want to. Good. Pull your knee back into your chest. Stand up nice and tall, and then step back to warrior two. Maybe take a second step so you can be where you're comfortable and stable. Now again, this left thigh is externally rotating, while the right thigh gently, just a little bit, internally rotates. So let yourself feel that, even if it means you unbend the front leg a couple times. Feel that action. We have happy, spacious lower backs. Arms extend. We'll take reverse warrior first. The legs stay the same. Left arm just reaches up. Breathe into the left side of the body. And then come forward, elbow to thigh. Side angle pose with a tiny twist here. Chest looking towards the sky. You can start that with your eyes. By turning your head, that'll help. We'll rise back up, warrior two. And then take a little cartwheel with the arms, hands to the floor for plank pose. Long and strong. Right knee down to the floor, right under your hips so you can stand on it. The foot will go off to the side because look, that's got to rotate inwards so we can rise up and open. Shoulders stack. Lift that back leg just to hip height. Keep your chin off your chest, move your head back in space. Bend your left knee, reach your left fingers back and see if you might just tap and tickle that heel. We're trying not to lean forward. Just making contact and breathing this full length. Imagine your whole belly stretching. Belly and thighs stretching without forcing the foot into the hand. Good. Extend back out. Come back to plank and make your choice to go through a vinyasa sequence, to come into child's pose, or just down dog. We're all going to meet in dog, and we're going to take a walk about halfway forward to the mat. Hands will walk back. We're in a forward bend. Let's hang out in a ragdoll for a moment. Bend your knees, drop your head. You can sway side to side. You could grab behind your legs. What feels good? Good. And then let your arms and your head hang down. Use your legs, belly and butt to roll up. All the way to standing. Reach your arms up to the sky after you've come up. Just to spread open your chest and then bring your hands to your heart. We're going to find another balance here, playing with an internal rotation. So let's begin with your hands on your hips and your eyes kind of focused on a point. I want you to shift your weight into your right leg. I'm going to turn to face you guys. Shift into that right leg, that right foot, press down on the ground and up and away. Rebound up and away. We're going to bend your left knee and just kick that foot behind you. Good. Try not to let your knee open to the side. Keep it right under your hip. And also we're trying not to turn through the hips, so they're still facing forward. Your left fingertips are going to reach back and maybe catch the inside. I'm kind of showing you from the side so you can see the inside edge of your foot. The inside edge. We're used to kind of grabbing the outside edge. So my foot is going to flex a little bit and press against my hand. Yep. So the leg is hugging into the midline and we're gently internally rotating that left thigh bone. So think of gently moving in and then maybe extending your knee back behind you slightly. You're still upright, nice and tall. When you're ready, you can take your right arm up to the sky and maybe start to move your left thigh bone back even more as you stay really, really upright. No leaning forward. Standing dancer. Good. I'm going to take a peek. I just want you to breathe across that line. From knee, yeah, you can hold the wall. I don't care. Because I'm more interested in that line opening. Notice if your left hip sank or hiked up. You can touch both hips. Sometimes they sink or hike up. Find your fullest extension. Think of cobra in the chest. Good. And then release. Put your feet on the floor. Notice how you feel. Yeah, shake it out a little bit. I'm just giving it a little kick here. You can rock a little side to side. And then we'll do the other side. Second side's always better. Unless we're working with healing injuries. Second side always works better because the brain has to do less work. Hold your hips, shift left. Feel that left leg turn on. Remember, don't lock out the knee. Got a little bounciness to it. We're gonna bend your right knee and lift the foot. Lift your chest and reach for the inside of your right foot. And the inside. You want your thighs hugging into the midline, so no knees moving out to the side. I just hiked my right hip up, so I'm going to try and drop it back down level and touch them and see. Hug in with the legs, and then maybe start to move again that thigh bone, that knee. Think of the knee, the foot moving more behind you as you get even more upright. Lift your left arm, look straight ahead, gently flex that back foot. Find your fullest extension of back bend. Hold here and breathe. One more moment. And release. Good, shake it out. So I think this pose really gives me an appreciation of those ice dancers and ice skaters who just do this and somehow their foot gets all the way up over their head while they're still upright. You now imagine how much strength that takes. Amazing. Good, stand at the front of your mat. Reach your arms up. Exhale and fold. Relax that head. Step it back to downward facing dog. We're going to send your right leg high into the sky and we're going to continue opening that line by bending your knees, stacking your hips so that your thighs are moving wide apart. Unlock your left knee And your left foot should still look like downward facing dog. That left foot doesn't turn. From here, you're going to step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. To the outside, so to the pinky instead of the thumb. This is lizard lunge. You're going to have your foot on the outside, your hands on the inside, and then you're going to lift and lengthen your spine. That's core strength right there. Reach your heart and your head forward. Wiggle that heel back. And as you look forward, really keep your eyes ahead of you. I want you to almost put your left knee down. Don't drop your head. And then lift it back up. Good. Keep that head upright. Almost put your knee down. Guys, my pharma ladies probably remember this one. Pick it back up. One more time. Almost to the floor. Reach it back and up. And this time we're going to descend. Let that knee drop. Good. So this is lizard lunge. Legs are hugging in, but they're lengthened far apart. You might stay right here. I'm finding that this is my edge today, is here in my hands. Some people drop down to one elbow and maybe even two. That's not the place for me today. I could come about halfway down. This might be a medium place. Keep that length in your spine, or if you have a block, you can put it under your elbows. Legs are still working, hugging in. And we're going to walk back up onto the hands. I'm not a fan of staying here forever anymore. It's too much on your joints. Too much. Good. We're going to send your right hand just in front of you a little bit to the floor. Just kidding. I lied. You're going to take your right hand to your right knee. And then we're going to lift up tall. So lift that torso up. So I'm quite long between my feet here. We did this pose, 6 or 8 times when we started, but there's a new line forming, a little more length. I'm going to reach these left fingertips back and see if by squeezing my legs together, I can reach for the inside edge of my foot. Now, I highly recommend if you're on the kitchen floor or something and it's hard, you definitely need a pillow or blanket. Carpet is helping me a lot right now. Yep. Emma, I'm going to send you a nice yoga blanket. So that's a lot of pressure on the kneecap. We're going to turn the chest forward. Maybe start to reach your right arm towards the sky. Maybe lift your chin off your chest. This is something like a mermaid. You're on the front of the boat. You're front of the boat. Here we go. We're going to dissolve from here. Hands down. Bring both hands down to the inside of the foot. Step the right foot back. You're on 2 knees here. Take a cat-cow. And then come forward onto your belly. We're going to take a nice long cobra. Heart forward, legs back. And lower. Push back to dog. We're going to do the other side. Left leg lifts. Coming into the hook. You're going to allow that left thigh to externally rotate. Allow the knee to bend in the sky. Keep your right leg looking just like normal, downward facing dog. Breathe and let that line open. Almost takes an amount of softening the belly. Squaring off shoulders and arms. Don't let that right shoulder buckle. Good. Take a step to the outside of your hand. Bring your hands to the inside of your leg. Wiggle the back foot back an inch or 2. And then lengthen fully through your spine forward. Don't drop your big head. Don't drop that big smart head. Almost put your back knee on the floor. And then reach it up and back. Almost put it down. Keep your eyes forward. Reach it up and back. One more. Inhale, exhale, reach it, and then let it descend. And your choice, lizard lunge on your hands Lizard lunge on your hands, but just taking a step forward with the hands, or maybe your right elbow. Oh, this side seems more comfortable for me. Maybe the left elbow, but I'm going to stay up here. That's enough. Find your length in your spine, your strength in your hips. Take another 3 breaths. Should feel breakfast really moving around now. Return to your hands. We're gonna bring, I'm gonna make sure this foot is strong and stable. You might need to pull it in a little closer. I might not have said that the first time. You might need to pull it into midline. Left hand to your thigh. We're gonna rise up. This is Anjaneyasana with a variation. Pull the ribs and belly back. Find that core strength. We all think of core strength sometimes incorrectly as just doing sit-ups, right? Being able to do a lot of sit-ups. But this is about maintaining length from the bottom of your bottom all the way up into your rib cage. And then yoga extends it even up through your palate to the crown of the head. Right fingers are going to reach back, and you're going to pad that right knee if you need with the pillow or blanket, and see if you can engage the back of your right leg and your glute to hold the inside of your ankle. Gently flex that foot. Keep your eyes and chest moving forward, and see if the left arm might come up. Hold here, breathe. You don't have to take it to this level, right? To this expression, you can stay whatever was good for you. Maybe foot stays down. That's fine. Totally fine. Good. Slowly let that foot go. Hands down. Take that left leg back. You're on hands and knees. You're going to do a cat and a cow. Or a cow and a cat. And then we're going to stretch out our bellies again. So come down into your tummy. We're going to pause here. Make a pillow with your hands and turn your head to whatever side is comfortable. And let's bend our knees so your feet can do some windshield wipers. They're going to move side to side. And notice again as your feet move to one side and the other, you're moving from internal on one leg, external on the other. If you're not sure which is which, it doesn't matter. You just feel it. Now lengthen your legs back again. Bring your thighs to neutral. Press the tops of your feet down. Let's take our hands back by our hips, palms flat. We're going to rest on the forehead. We're going to roll the shoulders back and together like they're reaching towards the sky. You're going to engage your entire core. Again, so think of just above the knees, especially here on inner thighs, outer hips, your back, your waistline. We're going to lift the head. Lift the shoulders, roll them back, and then lift the legs. Keep them in parallel. This is the locust. Breathe here. Don't worry about how far up you're getting from the floor. I want you to feel spacious, right? No congestion, no pinches. Good. Release. You can turn your head to one side and flip your palms up. Let your shoulders just drop to the floor, your arm bones rather. Let's do that again. Flip your hands, place your forehead, engage the whole back line of the body, plus internally, inside your body, your core is going to lift your head, your chest, your legs, your thighs, your heels. It's going to spread your toes. Breathe. And release. Turn your head to the other side. Flip your palms up. Let your legs go where they are. My heels dropped out to the sides. That's what's comfortable. Good. One more time. This time we're going to opt for Dhanurasana, bow pose. So you can start on your forehead. You're going to bend both knees. And this is what I do. I reach one hand back at a time, and I take my foot out to the side so I can reach it. Now I want you to reach for the inside of your foot, not on the outside. So I'm going to take one. I'm kind of rolling around like a whale here from side to side so I can get my hands to the inside of the feet or ankles. Then if my knees spread apart, I've got to bring them back to parallel, thighs parallel. I'm going to flex my feet gently. I'm going to use the strength of the legs first. Press my feet back. Hug the legs in. Try and lift your thighs, and from there, your chest might lift from the floor. Again, don't worry about how far up you're going. We're just lengthening the front line of the body without congesting the back. Hold here another moment. Very nice. And then release. Come down, take your resting pose again. Let your legs go out long. Turn your head to the other side. Wiggle your hips a little bit. Give your hips a little shimmy side to side. And then place your hands under your shoulders and really slowly transition back to a child's pose. It's your counter stretch. But we want to go really slowly. So it's very therapeutic, the movement, not just the pose, the movement. My knees are about hips distance here. And you're going to go with gravity. Good. Slowly walk your hands in so you can lift up. We're going to sit on your butt and take your legs in front of you. And like we started, we're going to take those windshield wipers and see how they feel different. So hands are behind you. Knees are going to go side to side. See if you feel different. This is what we're going to do. We're going to drop our knees to the right. You might come to sit up first and sit in this pinwheel shape in your legs. Now my right hip has got caught underneath me, so I'm going to pull it out from my sitting bone. I got a hip stuck there. Good. Gently flex your feet. I'm definitely heavier on my right hip. That's okay. And I'm just letting the weight of the thigh bones come down. From here, we're going to walk our hands behind us like you're going to lay down. You might just come up back about this much and just pause. We're used to the feeling, I think, on the right leg. Do you notice that? It seems pretty comfortable, pretty normal. The left leg is in a shape we don't do very often. That's that internal rotation. Some of you might stay here, or you can decide if it's safe on all your joints to come back onto your elbows. And from there, you can decide again if it feels safe to lie all the way down on your back. Right? And spread your arms out, or maybe even take them overhead. Wherever you are, take 3 nice breaths. If any of your joints, ankles, knees, hips, lower back, if any of them are giving you a zing, a numbing, or just a sharp pain, then you want to take it back a level and make that feeling dissipate. Take a shape where you feel spacious. Good. Wherever you are, we're going to slowly come back up and help myself up. How'd that go? Some of you probably are like, that was torture, and others are like, I'll see you next week. I'm ready to go to sleep. Good. Let's try the other side. probably, we all have lots of life experience. We're all of a certain age. We've got lots of years of potential stories in our hips, knees, and ankles. Lots of stories. Good. I'm going to try and get my left butt cheek out of the way, that glute. And then I'm just taking my time coming down. If I go in pretty quickly, my body hasn't had time to adjust. But when you're ready, you could come back to hands. Maybe elbows. Maybe all the way down on your back. If you have an injury that's still healing, it could be old, it could be quite old, that's okay. You know, for me, it's been, I don't know, since October. My body's telling me that right here is enough, staying on the elbows is enough. That's the therapy zone. Take your time wherever you are. We'll take 3 breaths. And slowly come back up. We're going to send both legs out in front of you. Just sit with straight legs for a moment. You can give them a little rub. We're going to do my favorite. I'm going to do sitting child's pose in a moment. Just give them some length, some nice neutral shape. And then we're going to bend and make a little pyramid underneath my legs. And it's up to you. You can bring your legs in pretty tight. You'll be a little more upright. You'll get more of a stretch in your neck and shoulders as you relax your head and wrap your arms in sitting child's pose. Or if you send your feet more forward, you'll lean a little bit more forward and you'll probably feel more good stress on your middle back and your lower back. Try to relax your head. Maybe even rest your head on your knees or on your hands. If they don't quite make it. Your head doesn't make it to your knees. Feel yourself kind of unwinding, unclenching. You just release. Let the knots and tension go. And then slowly we'll lift yourself back up and roll down into your back. Bring your knees to your chest. Rock a little side to side so your spine gets long. And let's take a happy baby. So your knees separate to about shoulders distance. You lift your feet and hold. You know, for me, the first stage is just holding behind the knees and rocking side to side. Sometimes for me to reach to my feet or ankles, it just feels a little bit like a strain. And since we're easing our way into relaxation, I'd rather do less work. Just not exert so much. But some of you I know have very long arms, and it's just so easy. The feet are just right there. Good. Now let's come into Supta Baddha Konasana for a moment. That's butterfly legs, feet on the floor, knees apart, arms spread out. Tuck your shoulders a little underneath you, close your eyes. Relax your jaw. We're going to take one deep releasing breath, and then we're going to just let our breath be natural. So inhale deeply through your nose. Feel your body, let that breath go like a sigh. Close your eyes. And let your breath just naturally kind of settle down and unwind so that it becomes just automatic. You're gently scanning your body for muscles that might be still trying to work, protect, compensate. Use your attention and your focus, use your mind to scan your body and release any tension that's coming up to the surface that you notice. We have to kind of let go of our armor. It's a good imagery. Use your imagination. See yourself taking off your armor. Maybe it's a costume. Put down your shield. Just find that nice soft skin and tissue. And let yourself relax. When you feel ready, you're going to extend one leg out into Shavasana, corpse pose, out to one corner of the mat and then the other. But if you're not ready for that, you're enjoying the shape we were in, stay there. If your lower back is not feeling happy in Shavasana, you can put your legs up. Or, simplest way, especially when you're in a class that you don't have access to a wall, to furniture, to props, just bend your knees, get your feet flat. Allow nice, slow, deeper breath to rise up into your body. Feel yourself letting it go. And starting to move, rolling your head, wiggling your fingers and toes. When you feel ready, you can bend your knees to your chest. Or maybe even put the feet down and take a couple of wipers again, windshield wipers. Any movement that feels lovely and nice. And when you feel ready, you can either roll to the side and sit up or give yourself a little kick. What feels like the easiest way to rise for you? And we're going to sit crisscross. We're going to finish sitting crisscross. And after all that work with internal and external, see how it feels to sit here. Rise up nice and tall. Feel that lift. That little bit of lift in the shoulders. That rise. Yesterday in a class we talked about lifting from the roof of your mouth up to the crown of your head. Yeah, nice, Emma. Yeah. Beautiful. Oh, everyone looks so fresh. Take a nice deep breath and let it go. Thank you so much, everyone. They took away my unmute all button, so you can unmute yourself if you want to say goodbye. Oh, there's Melissa. Hi.
Hi. Goodbye. Thank you.
Have a great day, guys. I'm going to send you an email because I have an idea about kind of restructuring the way we're doing classes. It would be at the same time, but kind of giving you guys a monthly membership, and you can come to whatever class you want at any time. Because some people have been asking me, like, I can't make it this week. Can I go to the other one? I'm like, yeah, of course. It's not like I don't have the space. So, but I will send you an email, so look out for that. I think it would hopefully make it nicer for all of us. I also just need to know if you guys feel like you'll keep doing this, and everyone's in a different place with what's going on. So have a wonderful day. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Rebecca.
Soon. Bye.
Bye.